In these 5 years, after the pandemic, we have witnessed an increase in price in almost everything, from grocery, electronics, housing, etc. Video games are no different. In 2020, with the release of the PlayStation 5, Sony announced an increase in their price from 70 to 80 euros. If that wasn't enough, with the Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo increased the price of their games to 90 euros for the physical edition and 80 for the digital version. This increase in terms of price can't be translated in terms of quality of the games. In these small gaps, there is a space for the independent developer, known simply as indie, made by developers who always keep quality and the artistic value of their work in mind. Will indie game save the industry? No, because there is nothing to save. In my opinion, indie represents the renaissance of gaming for creativity and artistic value. Another important aspect is that these games are reviving genres completely forgotten by the biggest companies. I think Hollow Knight, who brought the Metroidvania genre back to life in the minds of the wider audience, or even Stardew Valley, which did the same with the farming sim games. And almost all these games are developed by one or few people, showing us how creativity is the engine that pushes for the games we love. After the massive success of Expedition 33, where a small group of former Ubisoft developers left the company to create games that respect their vision, they managed to give us one of the best JRPG of the decade. One of the major problems is the high number of games released on the market every year. In 2024, 18,000 games were published on Steam alone, and a good part of them are indie games who try to find their own niche inside this battle royale for the attention of gamers, with the harsh competition of big publishers and their marketing war machine. In social media and right now inside Steam there are more games made with AI. I don't understand why this kind of slop is published. Another major problem is the indie games themselves. For how good these games are in terms of innovation and gameplay, the developer have to compete with the big publisher and their advertising campaigns, especially nowadays where the attention spans of the user on social media is very low, and the company who sells more is the one with the most ruthless marketing machine. An example that comes to my mind is the expansion of gacha games in the West, especially from China, in particular Genshin Impact, which has shown how the marketing is a powerful tool to capture the attention of the target audience, and usually we find their marketing in the most important events like Summer Game Fest, Gamescom and the Game Awards. But overall, I am positive about indie games in general. The industry is full of developers who have made great games, even though these independent games will probably never have the reach of the AAA or live service game. In certain niche gaming communities, they are becoming more relevant not only due to the matter of quality, but because certain games offer a great experience, and these are a major factor pushing more players to go against the usual narrative of higher development cost, which usually means greater cost for the end user. As an example of a game that doesn't respect the expectation of its fanbase, I think of Monster Hunter Wilds, which has a serious optimization problems on the PC, which paradoxically is the most important market for Capcom. And now the company has lost the trust built over a decade of good games with this silly choice. In this period, I am playing a deck builder roguelike called Star Raiders, and it's pretty fun. I don't lie when I say in this 2025 I had more fun playing indie games than playing the bigger AAA. The main reason for this is pretty simple. The indie developer is the good one. Yeah, I say good one, because not all the indie developers deserve this label. They develop a game they want to play, or the game they dream to develop, inspired by all the glories of the past. Thanks to these developers, the biggest companies are starting to develop different kind of titles. Talking about Capcom, the last year they released Kunitsugami Path of the Gods. Square Enix, Bandai Namco and even Xbox are doing the same with their minor titles. Inside the niche, the paradigm has already changed. The most hardcore communities are starting to play more of this kind of game, and now the big publishers are learning to capture a bigger audience. You need to earn the goodwill of the hardcore fanbase. Now, with the arrival of Chinese and Korean developers, the gaming landscape has completely changed. But the good thing is that this will push Western developers to make better games. Indies have taught me an important lesson. The idea and the talents are more important than the amount of money spent. Nowadays, players don't care about hyper-realistic graphics or big and open worlds full of repetitive activities. They care about having a great game and creating good memories. If you have reached the end of the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. My final thought is that it's pretty easy like my mother's pizza. Sometimes something with a simple concept can give us more satisfaction than something created to please everyone. And this is the main reason the big publishers have lost the trust among the gamers. Hasta la pasta, people. See you in the next one. Why am I speaking Spanish? I'm Italian. Ciao a tutti. See you in the next one.